Tom was not a hero. He was just a quiet engineer who liked fixing things. On the space station Argonne outpost, most people didn't even know his name. He worked in the back rooms, tightening bolts, checking wires, and making sure ships could fly safely. That's all he ever wanted. But everything changed the day the Zeroth transport ship was in trouble. It was a regular day. Tom was in the hangar, fixing a broken cargo loader. Suddenly, a loud alarm rang out. A voice spoke on the station's speakers. "Emergency! Transport ship Zeroth 9 has lost control. Life support failing. Docking failure detected." Tom didn't think. He just grabbed his toolkit and ran. The docking port was already surrounded by officers and worried aliens. The transport ship was shaking, unable to connect to the port. Sparks flew from the damaged systems. Inside the ship were more than 20. Aliens, engineers, workers, and even children. Everyone was afraid to act. The damage was too risky. One wrong move, and the ship could explode. But Tom moved fast. He crawled under the docking arm and connected a backup line by hand. It was dangerous. The arm was shaking, and electric sparks almost touched his face. But he didn't stop with his tools. He fixed the controls manually. The ship locked in. Air pressure returned. The hatch opened, and the passengers inside were safe. One alien, a short woman with light green skin and large blue eyes, stared at Tom for a long moment. She said nothing, just nodded slowly. Her tiny hands pressed to her chest. A few days later, Tom was called to the grand hall of the station. He didn't understand why. He had only done what felt right. But when he entered the hall, he saw the Galactic Council was waiting. There were officers, aliens from many worlds, and even Station Commander Relo. Tom stood there in his work suit, confused and nervous. Then, the council leader, a tall being with silver eyes, spoke. "Tom of Earth, you saved lives with bravery and skill. For your actions, we honor you." They gave him a medal made of crystal. It sparkled in the light. The crowd clapped and cheered. But then something strange happened. Another alien stepped forward. She was no taller than Tom's knee. She had soft purple hair, a small backpack, and wore a silver robe. She looked up at him with bright eyes. The council leader said, "As a sign of deep respect, the people of Minari offer you one of their own. This is Nari. She is a gift of loyalty, a companion to walk beside you forever." Tom blinked in shock. "What?" he asked. Before he could say anything more, Nari stepped forward, and then she wrapped her arms around his leg. Not just a small hug. She held on tightly, like she was never going to let go. Tom stood there, frozen. People laughed softly. Some clapped again. A few aliens whispered things in their own languages. But Nari didn't care. She was holding Tom's leg like it was the most important thing in the galaxy. "Please, you don't have to do this," Tom said softly, leaning down. "You're not a slave or a gift." But Nari just looked up and said, in a tiny voice, "I belong to you now. You saved me. This is the way of my people." Tom scratched his head. This can't be real. Tom never thought he would spend his days with someone holding onto his leg. But ever since the ceremony, Nari, the tiny alien woman, had refused to let go. Wherever Tom went, she went too, stuck firmly to his right leg like a warm living boot. The first few hours were uncomfortable. The next few days were just confusing. At the breakfast hall, other humans stared and whispered. Some laughed behind their hands. One man even joked, "Hey Tom, found yourself a leg warmer." Tom sighed and gave a small smile, trying to stay polite. He didn't want to embarrass Nari. Nari didn't seem to notice the stares. She sat by his boot, chewing on a strange pink fruit from her bag. Every now and then, she would pat his leg gently and hum in a strange tune. Tom guessed it was a song from her home planet. He decided to get answers. He couldn't just live his life with a tiny person holding onto him forever. Tom visited the Alien Culture Center on the station. It was a quiet place filled with books, glowing data screens, and alien scholars. He met with a tall, kind woman named Dr. Hamma, a human expert in alien customs. "I need help," Tom said. "This small alien girl they gave me. She won't let go of my leg. It's not normal, right, Doctor? Hema smiled softly. You must be talking about a Minari. Very loyal people, extremely respectful. Did you save her? I helped fix a damaged ship. That's all. To a Minari, that is no small thing, Dr. Hema explained. Their culture believes in life-debt loyalty. If you save one, they attach themselves to you. It is not about ownership. It is about honor and heart. Tom frowned. But all the time, everywhere I go, she will follow you, protect you, care for you. You can ask her to walk beside you instead of holding your leg, but only if she feels safe. Tom looked down at Nari, who was busy poking a glowing screen with curiosity. She didn't speak much, but her eyes always stayed on Tom, always alert, always calm. Later that day, Tom tried to explain gently. Nari, he said, sitting in his room, you don't have to hold my leg anymore. You can walk beside me, okay? Nari looked up, blinking. But then I might lose you. Tom gave a small smile. You won't lose me. I'll stay close, I promise. She looked unsure, but slowly stood up. She was about the size of a large cat, with light skin that shimmered softly under the light. Her eyes were wide and filled with trust. She took the small steps beside Tom. Like this? She asked. Tom nodded. Yes, that's perfect. She still stayed close, very close, and held the edge of his pants when they walked. But at least now his leg was free. Things got a little better after that. Tom returned to work in the engineering bay. His co-workers were surprised when they saw Nari standing beside him. Instead of holding on, she got upgraded. One joked. Another said, I think she likes you. Tom didn't answer. He was busy showing Nari the tools. She watched with great interest. When he showed her a small energy scanner, she copied his movements exactly. He was impressed. For someone so small, she learned fast. Over the next few days, Nari became his shadow. She handed him tools, pointed out leaks in old pipes, and even fixed a broken light by climbing inside the wall vent. Tom had to admit, she was more helpful than some of the new workers. But not everyone was happy. One of the station guards, a large alien named Tor, didn't like aliens mixing too much with humans. He saw Nari one day near the control panel and frowned that things should not be in restricted areas. Tor said. Tom stood up. She's with me, and she's helping. She's too small. She could break something. She just fixed a cooling fan that your team missed. Tom replied calmly. Tor grunted and walked away, but Tom noticed the cold look he gave Nari. That night, Tom spoke to Nari again. You don't have to fix everything, he said. You can rest too. Nari tilted her head. I want to be useful. I want to stay. Tom smiled. You already are useful. You already belong. Her small face brightened. She didn't speak after that, but she climbed up onto the table, curled up like a cat, and softly fell asleep. Tom watched her and thought how strange and how lucky his life had become. One morning, Tom woke up to find a small hand tugging at his sleeve. Trouble. Nari whispered. Tom rubbed his eyes. What kind of trouble? She pointed toward the door. Something moved in the hallway. It was not a person. Tom stood up quickly. He opened the door and looked outside. Nothing. But Nari's sharp senses didn't lie. Something was out there, watching, hiding. Tom didn't know yet, but the station was about to face a bigger problem, and Nari would be the first to see it coming. Tom was not used to having someone wake him up at night, but now that Nari was always nearby, even his sleep felt different. After she warned him about the strange sound in the hallway, Tom couldn't fall back asleep. He sat on the edge of his bed, thinking. Nari stood near the door, her small hand touching the wall as if she could feel something through it. What did you hear? Tom asked quietly. Steps, she said. Not heavy like yours. Small. Fast. Tom checked the hallway again. Empty. He looked at Nari. You have sharp ears. Nari smiled softly. Me Nari hear well, and smell well too. Tom chuckled. So you can smell trouble? Nari nodded. Sometimes. The next morning, Tom decided it was time to learn more about Nari. He realized he still didn't know much about her or her people. She followed him everywhere, helped him with work, warned him of strange sounds, but who was she really? They sat in the corner of the engineering bay during lunch break. Tom had a sandwich. Nari had a tiny bowl of glowing green jelly she brought from her bag. Tom leaned forward. "Where are you from, Nari?" She smiled. "I'm from Maralu, a green moon, full of trees, full of light bugs." Tom listened carefully. "Do your people live in cities?" Nari shook her head. "No cities, only tree homes. We speak with nature. We do not like big machines." "Then, how do you know how to fix things?" Tom asked. Surprised, "My grandfather fixed stars," she said proudly. "He was a star listener. He taught me how machines breathe." Tom blinked. "Machines breathe, yes," she said seriously. "They make sounds. When sad, they buzz wrong. When happy, they hum smooth." Tom laughed. "That's actually a smart way to think about it." Nari looked pleased. She loved when Tom smiled. For the next few days, they worked together more closely. Tom showed her earth tools, wrenches, meters, laser cutters. Nari listened, touched, and tried each one carefully. She didn't talk much during work. She liked to focus. But sometimes she asked interesting questions. "Why do humans wear shoes?" "So our feet don't get hurt," Tom answered. "But then your toes never see the sun," she said with a sad face. Tom laughed again. "You're right. She also loved earth music." One day, Tom played an old song from his dataship, soft guitar and slow singing. Nari's eyes lit up. She closed her eyes and swayed slowly to the sound. "Is this how humans sing to trees?" she asked. "Sometimes," Tom said. "Sometimes we sing to ourselves when we're alone." Nari nodded slowly. "We do too. Every night." Tom learned something new about her. Nari once told him her people talk to plants before they eat them. They thank the rivers before drinking water. And when someone saves a life, they give their heart in return. "That's why you stay with me?" Tom asked one night as she sat beside him, gently cleaning his boots. "Yes," she said. "You saved us. You gave us air when we had none. That is like giving life." Tom looked at her for a long time. She was small, strange, and very different from anyone he'd known. But she had a big heart. He finally said, "I'm glad you're here, Nari." She looked up and smiled brightly. "Then I will stay forever." But the peace didn't last. Late one evening, while checking the lower cargo area, Nari suddenly stopped. Walking, her ears twitched. She sniffed the air. Again, she whispered, "The smell, the sound." Tom stood still. "You hear something?" "Yes." "Not human. Not from this place." Tom pulled out his tool scanner. It picked up a weak energy reading near the vent. Then they both heard it, a faint clicking sound. Like small claws on metal. Tom stepped forward and slowly opened the side panel of the vent. Inside, he saw nothing. But Nari was sure. Something is hiding. It watches. Tom closed the panel slowly. "We should report this." The next day, Tom went to the security center. He told Officer Bren, a human guard, about the strange sounds and energy reading. But the officer only gave a small laugh. "Probably station rats," Bren said, "or faulty sensors." "Don't worry," engineer Tom. "We'll check it later." Tom walked out feeling uneasy. Nari was sure. He told himself, "She knows." He looked down at her. She walked beside him, quiet, but alert. "We'll find it ourselves," Tom said. Nari nodded once. She was ready. That night, Tom placed small motion sensors near the vent area. Nari sat on top of a crate, watching. 2 hours passed. Nothing happened. Then, suddenly, a red light blinked on the scanner. Movement. Tom looked at the screen. The creature was small, fast. It moved from vent to vent, then disappeared. Nari pointed to the wall. "It's moving again." Tom stared. "It's not a rat. It's something else." Whatever it was hiding, crawling through small spaces, avoiding the guards, but not them. Only Nari, with her sharp ears and nose, could sense it. Later, as they returned to their room, Tom looked down at her. "You're amazing. You know that?" He said. Nari tilted her head. "Why? You see what others don't. You help when others laugh. You save lives, and now, maybe you'll do it again." Nari smiled. "We do it together." Tom smiled back. "Yeah, together." He didn't know what the hidden thing in the vents really was. But one thing was clear now. Nari was more than just a reward. She was his teammate, his friend. And maybe the only one who could save the station again. The next few days on Argonne Outpost felt different. Something was wrong. People didn't say it out loud, but Tom could feel the change in the air. Lights flickered in the hallways. Small machines failed for no reason. Doors opened and closed on their own. Everyone blamed it on old systems or power trouble. But Tom knew better, and so did Nari. She stayed alert all the time. Her ears twitched. Her eyes moved quickly, watching every shadow. Every vent. Tom trusted her. Ever since they had seen the strange movement on the scanner, he knew something or someone was hiding in the station. One morning, Tom entered the main engine room for a repair task. As always, Nari walked beside him, but the moment they stepped in, Nari stopped. She sniffed the air. Something touched this place. Tom looked around. The tools were not in the right place. A cooling pipe was loose, like someone opened it and closed it again. He walked over and checked the security panel. The logs were empty. Strange, he muttered. No work order, no log. But someone was here. Nari climbed up a pipe and pointed. "Look, there." Tom followed her finger. In the dust above the engine panel, there were small footprints. Not human. Not Minari. 3 toes. Clawed. Tom's face became serious. Something's really here. And it's moving in secret. That night, Tom and Nari made a plan. They would follow the vent system and place motion sensors. Nari carried tiny tracker balls in her pouch, which she rolled into narrow pipes. Tom used his scanner to map the network. After hours of checking, they found something big. The sensors showed movement in 3 different vent systems, all close to power lines, fuel tanks, or control panels. "It's not just hiding," Tom said. "It's planning something." Nari's voice was low. "It wants to break the station." They didn't wait. Tom reported everything to the station's command center. This time, the officers listened. The next day, the council ordered a full security scan. Robots were sent into the vents. Guards watched the hallways. Tom helped lead the technical team. Still, the hidden creature stayed one step ahead. Then it happened. Just after midnight, the life support system in Sector D shut down. People there started choking. Alarms rang. Tom ran with the repair team. Nari rode on his shoulder. Inside the control room, sparks flew from the wall. Smoke filled the air. Tom pushed through and reached the main panel. "Wires are cut," he shouted. "It's sabotage." Nari jumped down and pointed. There, in the corner, Tom looked and saw a small, dark figure crawling through a vent. It was fast like a shadow with legs. One of the guards fired a stun light, but it missed. The creature vanished, but this time it had made a mistake. It left behind a black shell, shaped like armor. Tom picked it up. It was cold and hard. Nari touched it. "I know this from stories. It's a Velic." Tom had never heard that name. "What's a Velic?" he asked. Nari's voice was calm, but firm. "They come in silence. They hide. They steal tech and destroy. They do not speak. Only crawl and cut." Tom stared at the vent. "It's spying on the station." Nari nodded. "And planning more." Now everyone believed them. The council acted fast. All engineers were told to check systems for signs of tampering. Nari became a hero among the tech teams. Even tall aliens listened when she spoke. Tom and Nari worked day and night. They found two more vents with Velic claw marks. Each one was near important systems. But catching the Velic was not easy. It was smart. It avoided cameras. It stayed silent. It moved only in the dark. That's when Tom had an idea. He built a trap. Using spare parts and scanner chips, Tom made a box that looked like a power node. But inside, it had motion sensors and locking beams. Nari placed it in a quiet hallway, near the fuel core, one of the places the Velic had passed. Then they waited. Hours passed. Nothing. Then suddenly click. The trap beeped. Tom and Nari ran to the spot. The lights on the box were flashing red. "It's inside," Tom said. The security team arrived fast. They opened the trap slowly. Inside, there was no full creature, just a piece of it. A small robotic arm with 3 claws. Broken off, still twitching. Nari looked at it closely. "Not only Velik," she said. "It is machine parts. It is half robot." Tom's eyes widened. "So it's not just alive. It's a hybrid." That made things worse. A living creature mixed with tech could bypass most alarms. It could connect to systems, maybe even control parts of the station. The council gathered again. This time, Tom was called to the meeting. He stood before aliens of many worlds. Nari stood on the table beside him, arms folded, looking serious. Tom spoke clearly. "We need to find where it's hiding, and we need to know what it wants." One alien leader asked, "Can you stop it, Engineer Tom?" Tom looked at Nari. She gave a firm nod. "Yes," Tom said. "Together, we can." That night, Tom and Nari walked the dark halls of the station again. "I never wanted to be a hero," Tom said. "You are," Nari replied softly. Tom smiled. "So are you?" Nari looked up at him. "Still want me to stop holding your leg?" Tom laughed. "No. Stay close." Because now, more than ever, he knew Nari wasn't just a tiny alien. She was his partner, and the only one who could help stop the shadow hiding inside Argonne Outpost. After the Velik attack, the mood on Argonne Outpost changed. Security was tighter. Guards patrolled the hallways. Vent systems were sealed with new covers. People moved carefully. Even the lights seemed dimmer. But not everything was dark. Tom and Nari were now known across the station. Engineers respected them. Soldiers nodded when they passed. Even the council smiled at Tom when he entered the command room. One morning, Tom received a message from Commander Relo. "Meet me in the council hall. A new mission awaits." Tom stood tall in the hall. Nari perched calmly on his shoulder. Relo explained the situation. "We have a peace device that must be delivered to the planet Vine 6. 2 alien factions there are close to war. This device will help balance their energy fields and stop the conflict." Tom nodded slowly. "Why me? You know machines. You're calm under pressure." And the commander smiled faintly. "You have her." Relo looked at Nari. She didn't smile back, just gave a sharp nod. She took missions seriously. "You will travel with a small ship. No guards. We need to keep this quiet." Tom understood. A simple mission. Quiet, peaceful. Or so it seemed. Their ship, Starlight Echo, was small but fast. It had 2 sleeping pods, a food unit, and basic defense tools. Tom checked every wire twice before leaving. Nari inspected the vents carefully. "No Velik here," she said. "Safe." They left the station in silence, flying through open space. For the first time in weeks, things felt calm. Tom looked out at the stars and whispered, "I wonder what Earth looks like now." "You miss it?" Nari asked, sitting beside the control screen. "Sometimes," Tom said. "But this feels like home too." Nari smiled. "Where you are, I am. That is home enough." 2 days passed as they traveled through star zones. Nari enjoyed looking through the clear dome above their heads. "So many lights," she said. "So many places." She spent her time cleaning the ship, organizing tools, and watching for signs of trouble. Even when she slept, she kept one hand on her little scanner. Tom taught her how to use the ship's screen. She learned fast. "You're better than most pilots," he joked. "I have a good teacher," she replied. But peace didn't last. On the 3rd day, while passing through a quiet zone near North Cloud, warning lights blinked. "Unregistered ship detected," the screen said. Tom checked the radar. "Something's following us." Nari's eyes narrowed. "Not good." A few minutes later, a voice came through the radio. It was low and rough. "Small ship, stop engines. Hand over the Peace Corps." Tom turned off the radio. Space raiders. They were in danger. The peace device in their cargo was valuable. If stolen, the war on Vine 6 would begin again. Tom had no weapons strong enough to fight. "We have to outsmart them," he said. The raider ship fired a warning shot. A red blast passed near their wing. Nari jumped to the control screen. Go fast. Hide in the cloud. Tom nodded and steered the ship into the north cloud of thick space fog made of gas and dust inside. Everything turned gray. Lights became weak. Scanners didn't work well. We'll lose them in here, Tom said, but the raider ship followed. They still see us, Nari said, climbing up to the roof window. They know this place. Tom's hands shook. We need a trick. Nari looked at the back vents. I have an idea. Using scrap metal, Nari and Tom quickly built a fake core shiny, glowing ball that looked like the real peace device. Then, with careful timing, they dropped it into the fog using the back hatch. Moments later, the raider ship changed direction. They're chasing the fake, Tom shouted. Now go up, Nari said. Tom pulled the controls and flew the Starlight Echo upward out of the fog. The cloud covered their escape. Within minutes, the radar was clear. The enemy was gone. Tom leaned back and sighed. That was close. Nari smiled. I told you we're a good team. They reached Vine 6 the next day. Two alien groups, the Varu and the Grell, met them at a mountain landing pad. Both sides looked tired. Their eyes showed fear and anger. Tom and Nari stood between them. Tom carefully opened the peace device case and placed it on the ground. This will help balance your energy fields. It will stop the power struggle, he explained. Nari stepped forward. But you must choose peace. Machines only work if hearts do. The two leaders looked at her, surprised by her small size and brave voice, after a long silence. Both leaders nodded. We will try, one said. For the sake of our people, said the other. That night, Tom and Nari sat under the stars on the mountain. You were amazing back there. Tom said, You too, Nari replied. He looked at her. You saved my life again. Shave said, Part 6, 1,000 words kaleko or interesting huna. Shea or third-person style malekniha or simple basic English ka. Don't use any violated word. So please avoid any violated content, chat said. Title. They gave me a tiny alien woman as a reward. Now she won't let go of my leg. Part 6. A choice to make word count. Approximately 1,000 style. Third person. Simple basic English. Clean and interesting. Tom and Nari returned to Argon Outpost 2 days after their mission on Vine 6. The journey back was peaceful. The stars looked calm, and the ship made no strange sounds. Even the old engine hummed like it was happy. Tom sat in the pilot's seat. Nari rested on the control panel, her tiny arms behind her head, looking up at the star dome above. We did. Good, Tom said softly. Nari smiled. Yes, no war. Peace is better. Tom nodded. He knew she was right. He looked at her and thought about how much had changed. When they first met, she was just holding onto his leg like a quiet shadow. Now she was his friend, his teammate. His heart felt warm when she was near. When the ship landed, they were welcomed with applause. The council, engineers, and guards had all gathered in the hangar. Commander Relo stepped forward. Tom, Nari, you have done more than we asked. The mission was a success. The council is proud. Tom felt shy and rubbed the back of his neck. We just did what needed to be done. Nari gave a small bow. She didn't like attention, but she was proud to. Then Relo said something that surprised them both. Tom, we have a new offer for you. Earth Colony 9 is starting a joint project. They want someone like you to help lead it. It's a big step forward. Tom's eyes widened. A new colony, yes, Relo said. A growing city. Good pay. New machines. A team of your own. You'd be the chief engineer. Tom looked at Nari quickly. She looked back at him. She said nothing, but her eyes showed a flicker of worry. Can I bring her? Tom asked softly. Relo paused. The colony has strict rules. No non-human workers in the first phase. Maybe. Later, after the setup is complete. Nari looked down at her feet. She tried to hide her face. Tom was quiet the rest of the day. He sat in his room, staring at the stars through the window. Nari sat near the door. She didn't hold his leg. Now, she didn't say a word. She just sat there still, small, and silent. Finally, Tom spoke. They want me to go. Nari nodded once, They say I can't bring you? Another nod. He looked at her. What do you want me to do? Nari didn't answer right away. Then she spoke in a soft voice. You saved my life. I followed you. I stood beside you. But I am small. I don't belong in big places with big rules. Tom stood up. That's not true. You belong with me. Nari looked up, eyes wet. But if I go, they may not let you rise. I don't want to stop you. Tom sat down beside her. You never stopped me. You made me better, stronger, braver. She turned away. Still, I will go if you need to fly higher. There was a long silence. Then Tom made a choice. The next day, he went to Commander Rilo and gave his answer. Thank you for the offer, Tom said. But I'm not leaving Argonne Outpost. Rilo looked surprised. You're giving up the promotion, Tom smiled. I'm not giving up anything. I'm choosing what matters. Rilo nodded slowly. I understand. You've made your place here. Later, when Tom told Nari, her eyes lit up. You stayed. Tom knelt beside her. Where else would I go? You're my team, my family. Nari smiled wider than ever before. Then, without a word, she hugged his leg again just for a moment. A week later, Tom started a new department on the station, Alien Human Tech Team. It was the first of its kind. Nari was named co-lead. Together, they fixed machines, solved problems, and trained others to work side by side. People from many species joined their team. Even the grumpy guard tour began to respect Nari after she repaired a ship's broken thruster. In 5 minutes flat, Tom became famous not for medals or titles, but for how he brought people together. And always by his side was Nari, tiny, smart, loyal, and full of heart. One night, they sat on top of the station's dome, looking out at the stars. Nari asked, Do you still wonder what life would be like on Earth Colony 9? Tom smiled. Maybe sometimes, but this, he waved at the stars, this is where I'm needed. She nodded. Me too. Tom looked at her. You know, I never really got a say when they gave you to me. She tilted her head. Do you want to return me now? Tom laughed. Never. Nari chuckled. Then I will never let go. Months passed on Argonne Outpost, and life slowly changed. Tom and Nari's new alien human tech team was a big success. More people from other species joined. Soon, the station had engineers from 6 different planets working together. They shared ideas, tools, and sometimes snacks from their home worlds. Nari became well known. People stopped calling her the tiny alien girl. Now, they called her Chief Nari. Even Commander Rilo said during one meeting, she may be small, but she holds half this station together. Tom smiled with pride when he heard that. One morning, Tom got a message. It came from Earth Council Central. The message was simple. Dear Tom, we have been watching your work on Argonne Outpost. We believe you are ready to lead your own station. A new satellite station is being built near planet Hura. Would you accept? Command. Tom read the message twice. Nari walked into the room carrying 2 small toolkits. She tilted her head. What is it? Tom showed her the screen. She read it slowly. Her eyes grew wide. They want you to be captain? Tom nodded. Yes, a whole new station. My own command. She stared at the screen for a while, then looked up. Will they let aliens join you this time? Tom checked. Yes, full alien-human cooperation. You would be on my team. Nari's smile was soft. Then we go together. The next few weeks were busy. Tom and Nari packed their things, said goodbye to old friends, and prepared for the move. Tor the guard gave Nari a special wrench as a gift. For the best mechanic I've ever met, he said. Even if she's small. Commander Rilo gave Tom a firm handshake. You've come a long way, engineer. Now go build something great. Finally, they boarded a transport ship. Tom sat in the main seat. Nari climbed onto her usual place, right beside his leg, still not letting go. Tom joked, never. She said, holding on tight. The new station was called Horizon 12. It floated above the bright green skies of planet Hura. It wasn't finished yet. There were metal frames, half-working doors, and lots of sparks flying from open wires. Tom looked around. Well, we've got a lot of work. Nari smiled. Good. I don't like boring. The workers looked confused at first when they saw Nari giving orders. One big alien asked, "Who is this small person?" Tom answered proudly. "She's my second in command." No one questioned her again. Together, Tom and Nari rebuilt Horizon 12. They added stronger engines, better life support, and a power system that used light from Hera's sun. They made it a place where humans, aliens, and machines worked as one. They held daily team lunches where food from many planets was shared. They taught young engineers that respect mattered more than size or species. And every evening, when the work was done, they sat near the glass wall and looked at the stars. "Still glad you stayed with me?" Tom asked one night. Nari looked up at him. "I never belonged anywhere before I met you." He smiled. "Well, now you belong everywhere." One day, a small ship came flying toward the station. It was damaged. Smoke came from its tail. "Emergency signal detected," the computer said. Tom stood up. "Let's go." Nari was already holding her toolkit. They flew a shuttle out and brought the ship in safely. Inside, they found a young alien girl scared and alone. Nari knelt beside her. "You're safe now." The girl looked up. "Will they send me away?" Nari shook her head. "No, you stay." Tom stood behind her. "Just like she stayed with me." The girl gave a small smile. Weeks later, the girl became part of the station. She learned tools. She watched Nari fix engines. She even clung to Tom's leg once. Everyone laughed. Tom looked at Nari. "Now you're the one who has someone holding on." Nari laughed. "I don't mind. Maybe she will grow strong like I did." Tom said softly, "She already has a good teacher." Years passed. Horizon 12 became one of the most respected stations in the galaxy. Tom was known not just as a great leader but as a man who brought worlds together. And Nari, the tiny alien girl once given as a gift, became a symbol of unity. People from every planet told the story of how one small person and one quiet engineer changed everything, not with weapons, but with kindness, trust, and teamwork. And no matter how high Tom rose, Nari never let go. Not from his leg, not from his side, and never from his heart.